to the 60s and 70s TV show and fashion series. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to do the top 10 style icons of 60s TV shows. So, are you ready? Hi, if you're new here, my name is Ashley, and I'm a lover of all things 60s and 70s. The fashion, the movies, specifically the horror movies, the TV shows, the music, and everything in between, just not the values. So, if that's something you're into, stick around and hit subscribe. So let's get into it today. The top 10 style icons of 60s TV shows. Kicking things off at number 10 is Morticia Addams. Yes, from the 60s though. Now, the Addams family ran from 1964 to 1966. And obviously the plot is they're kooky, they're creepy. You know the song. They are that creepy family down the block. But what's different is they really have the same problems as Leave It to Beaver. The show follows the Addams family with Uncle Fester, Wednesday and Pugsley, their two children, Grandmama, and of course, Lurch and Thing. They get into normal family predicaments, but what's different is their vision of kind of what's beautiful and what is normal. And even though they have this different vision than everybody else on the block, they still showcase love and affection to each other and have an amazing family unit. So they really showcase that even if you're different, you still have the same challenges as the Smiths next door. Now, with the Addams family, the star of the show and fashion icon herself is Morticia Addams. Morticia is played by Caroline Jones, the calm and elegant matriarch who tended to the man-eating plants. Her style was a romantic gothic chic sophistication with her long, tight-fitted mermaid-style dress, always in black with her long, black, dark hair parted down the middle. A very different look for the 1960s at the time. And in this time of when this show was released, you have to remember shows like Leave It to Beaver were on, where it was this normal family unit that dressed in the fashion of the times and had, each episode a challenge within the family unit that normal families faced. What was different about the Addams is they had the same challenges. They just kind of had a little bit of a different lifestyle, and it was creepy and kooky, just like the theme song said. Now, what I love about Morticia is she, yes, had this different sense of style, but it was chic and sophisticated. And she always had beautiful eye makeup on. It was simple, yet it drew your attention to her eyes. There was a slight cat eye, the lashes, and everything else was really simple. Now, her fashion really didn't depict the 60s, but if you take a look at Wednesday Addams in this show, she had on a more of an A-line dress with a collar. It was pretty short, and it definitely was reminiscent of the mod look and the early youthquake. So you do see a little bit of 60s represented in Wednesday Addams, which I love. And there's even a scene of Wednesday doing a modern dance in her cute little dress. That was definitely a mod moment. Next up on the list at number 9 is Laura Petrie of The Dick Van Dyke Show, played by Mary Tyler Moore. Now, The Dick Van Dyke Show ran from 1961 to 1966. It was definitely one of my favorites when I was younger, watching it on Nick at Night. The plot is evenly split between Rob, her husband, navigating comedic mishaps at work and his suburban home life in New Rochelle, New York, with his wife Laura and son Richie. Now, Laura is played by Mary Tyler Moore, Rob's stylish, graceful, and intelligent wife. She famously broke out on the scene on TV wearing pants. Now, she regularly wore capri pants and slacks on TV, which was unheard of. It was groundbreaking. It was a wardrobe choice that mirrored real life suburban housewives. This is what people were wearing. So there are a lot of scenes of, specifically one I remember of her dancing in her capri pants and shirt. And she just had this really laid back yet sophisticated style. And I absolutely loved it. She basically swapped skirts that were traditionally worn for housewives on TV for more of a stylish look really kind of fashion forward with a capri pant, and she wore a lot of A-line dresses, which were becoming a really big fashion staple of the 60s. It was more of a comfortable look, an everyday look, and she became a fashion icon for that. And then later on became a fashion icon in her own right on her TV show, The Mary Tyler Moore Show. Now, what's cool about this is Mary Tyler Moore herself was the one that insisted on wearing pants on the show because she really wanted to depict what real woman wore at home. And it became a trend for American women. And I think that just shows how iconic Mary Tyler Moore is. Now, coming in at number 8 is Batgirl. And this is from the Batman TV series. That's right. Now, Batgirl was put on the series during the later seasons, and it's played by actress and ballet dancer Yvonne Craig. She was actually introduced into the show in the third season because it had a little bit of declining ratings, and they thought adding a new character would boost that. And she did quickly become a fan favorite and one of the first girl superheroes featured on TV, which she became a big role model for girls in the 60s. Yes, she was Batgirl, but by day, her character was Barbara Gordon, a Gotham City librarian and daughter of Police Commissioner Gordon. It was her fashion as Barbara that really stood out to me, and she wore a lot of great mod style dresses. And if you don't know, the Batman TV series featured a lot of mod styles, bright colors, patterns. It was just all about color in this show because it was a comic book coming to life. Now, standout moments for my friend Batgirl were specifically two yellow dresses in particular that really just wowed me, first of all, but also too worked really well with her skin tone and her hair. And I just love the bright color yellow. I think it's great paired with the fashion of the mod style, shorter skirt, collars. I love that look. And it was definitely a big showcase for mod fashion on this TV show. It brought mod to the masses, and I love that. Here we go. At number 7 is Maureen and Judy Robinson from Lost in Space. This ran from 1965 to 1968. Now, this is a show I think people sleep on a little bit, and it's kind of fun and quirky and cheesy, but I actually really like it, and the fashion was really good. So, what was it about? It was a sci-fi series that follows the Robinson family who are chosen to colonize on Alpha Centauri planet. Who are chosen to colonize on a planet. Their mission is sabotaged by enemy agent Dr. Zachary Smith, who becomes trapped on their spacecraft Jupiter 2, sending it hopelessly off course into unknown regions of deep space. Now, first let's look at the mom, Maureen Robinson, played by June Lockhart. She was a biochemist and medical doctor, and she was calm and steady and the moral compass of the crew. But her outfits, they were great. And what I love is it took space age fashion, which was extremely popular in the 1960s, and added an element of mod to it, which really it was part of that kind of culture in the 60s. And it added all these bright, fun colors. Also, her daughter and the oldest sister, Judy Robinson, who is played by Marta Kristen. Judy was the oldest of the Robinson children. And what I loved, it was definitely inspired by the space age fashion of the time. It took it from that more extreme space age fashion to a more kind of subtle look with it. It brought in bright colors and added a little bit of that mod vibe to it, and the two together became kind of the fashion moment for Lost in Space. I loved all the patterns in the outfits, even though we were watching like a sci-fi show that it was meant to look very like we're in space. The outfits were really cool. And if you look back on, just Google images at like Lost in Space, you will see so many vibrant colors and patterns in these outfits and how intricate they were made. It was something special. And I think a lot of people sleep on this show a little bit, and especially the fashion. Munster of the Munsters. And the reason is it is one of the first horror shows that I actually watched, even though it's not really horror, but it was a great introduction for me when I was younger. And I just have really good memories of it. So the Munsters ran from 1964 to 1966, and the plot of the Munsters very similar to the Addams Family, and they were on the air at the same time. Fun fact is that they actually had casted a different person in the role of the matriarch of the Munsters. And it was going to be a totally different character named Phoebe Munster. And the problem was Phoebe looked too much like Morticia. So there was a last minute switch, and Lily Munster was brought in, and Yvonne DiCarlo took the reign of that role. Now, she was, yes, the matriarch of the family and a centuries old vampire. She lovingly keeps the household running despite the chaos around her, with Herman and Grandpa always scheming. She really had a style all her own, yet she had a 60s twist. She always wore a gothic yet bohemian style dress with a statement necklace, a bat, of course. But if we look at the 60s fashion, bohemian style was coming of age, and also statement necklaces. She had very bold eye makeup, which took hours to do on set. Yes, it had a gothic twist, but the 60s again were all about the eyes, and Lily was all about that too. She is someone that will go down in history as not only a horror icon, but also a fashion icon in her own right. Flying in is Andorra from Bewitched. Yes, the mom from Bewitched. We love her. Bewitched ran from 1964 to 1972, covering a lot of fashion ground. Now, the plot of Bewitched is simple. Samantha, she's a witch, marries a mortal, Darren, and chaos ensues. Her mother, Andorra, is always involved in this chaos. Now, Andorra is definitely glamorous, and she is, of course, a witch, but she despises mortals, especially Darren. And she likes to torment him a little bit. It's kind of fun to watch. It's kind of fun to watch. She's played by the legendary Angus Moorhead. And I don't think anyone else could have brought Andorra to life except her. She had the most glamorous dresses, flowing boho style with bright, bold colors, and even sometimes patterns. She was a combination of styles from boho to mod in the early seasons, and the eye makeup, of course, was always outrageous. And that's really what made her character. Her eye makeup was so iconic, and I am going to put a picture up, of course, of that. And again, the 1960s were all about the eyes. Big, bold lashes, cat eye, lashes, underneath, bigger the better, and really subtle when it came to the rest of the face. And Andorra nailed that. Surfing in at number 3 is Gidget. And from the show Gidget, it ran from 1965 to 1966. The plot, it follows the adventures of Frances Gidget Lawrence, played by Sally Field, a spirited, boy-crazy California teenager. She lives in Malibu with her widowed father, a UCLA professor. The show humorously captures her coming-of-age escapades, surfing, and navigating school and romance. Big part of the 60s were kind of beach party movies, so this really kind of jumped on that trend. And also, it showcased a lot of great fashion of the time, not only surfing and beach attire, but also just basic everyday wear. Now, Gidget, Sally Field, is the energetic 15-year-old protagonist whose life revolves around surfing and boys. Now, she had a laid back style and she wore a lot of patterned shirts and jeans. In particular, there is one outfit that I actually really love. She wore an array of clothes, basic everyday wear, dresses, beachwear. There was so much fashion in this show and it was so great. Now, one in particular of her laid back outfits is a patterned shirt, jeans, and she has a handkerchief in her hair. And it is very colorful and bold and just a really cute laid back outfit that I would wear now. And then, of course, her surfer girl look with her tiny yellow two-piece bikini. And I love the style of bikinis in this era. Now, she had a lot of fabulous dresses. She had plaid, she had colored dresses, she had polka dot dresses, and she always had really great hair. She sometimes had a matching bow in her hair, and this show was really slightly pushing the youthquake look to TV sets across the nation. Next is number 2. Number 2 coming in is Anne Marie from That Girl, and she is that girl when it came to fashion. Now, this ran from 1966 to 1971, and the plot, Well, it follows Anne Marie, an ambitious young woman from upstate New York who moves to Manhattan to pursue an acting and modeling career. Navigating auditions and temp jobs, she balances her independent city life with a devoted boyfriend, Donald, and her overprotected father. Now, Anne Marie is played by Marlo Thomas. And oh, does she rock the fashion in this show? She is ambitious, stylish, and independent. She also is kind of the forerunner of Mary Tyler Moore. If we think about the 70s and what Mary Tyler Moore did, it was about fashion and independence. And I love that. Now, she brought mod to the TV screen. Her outfits were an absolute favorite of mine, and I want them all in my closet, like right now. From her ties with skirts, from her ties with her button-up shirts and skirts, to her A-line dresses, to her pattern dresses and skirts, everything she wore was a staple of the 60s. The show was a walking runway show for girls in the 60s to model after. And this show, I mean, you could watch all of the episodes and each episode get inspired of a different outfit that you want to thrift or find or like try to see if you have in your closet at this point because it is so good. She is that girl for fashion. Now, coming in at number one, and if you know me, you probably knew that she was going to be number one because I love her. It is Samantha Stevens from Bewitched. Now, again, this show ran from 1964 to 1972. So many decades of fashion were covered. It was like a fashion evolution of the characters. And Samantha Stevens did it seamlessly. Now, we know what the plot is about because we mentioned it before, but she was the best dressed witch. She was the best dressed witch on television. Best dressed person on television. Now, she is 60s styled, immortalized. If you want a fashion lesson of the 60s, you got to watch this show. And even the early 70s. From her nightwear, her peignoir sets, her nightgowns, these are what I aspire to have in my closet, to her everyday housewife clothing, to her evening wear. The runway was the Stevens living room. Samantha was the it girl and always will be of the 60s. And oh, would I have died to like meet her and raid her closet in this time. And everybody that I've talked to about this show, they agree she was a fashion icon and the fashion is so good in this show. And if you want to dive deep into that, check out my video, 60s and 70s TV show and fashion on Bewitched. I dive into it. I actually want to do a part two because there's so much more fashion to cover. But that is my number one pick of style icon of the 60s from TV shows. There are so many TV show icons of this era, but these are my favorites. What is yours? I want to know. And maybe it will give me ambition to watch that show if I've never seen it before. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the countdown. It was so fun to make. It was actually really hard to like put them in an order and, figure out what was going to be number two, number three. Number one I knew was going to be Samantha, but that was easy. But let me know what would be your number one. What would be your top three style icons of 60s TV show? I want to know. Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, like and share it with someone that would love it too. And if you like 60s and 70s content, hit subscribe and check out all my other videos. But until next time, I'll see ya.